Education for Sustainable Development, ESD. Our biggest challenge in this new century is to take an idea that sounds abstract and turn it into reality for all the world's people, sustainable development, in the words of Kofi Annan. The scope of this DVD is a unique teaching aid which informs and sensitizes teachers about education for sustainable development. It will enable you to grasp its essence and translate the ESD approach into real action in the classroom. In this DVD, we begin with an introduction to WWF, India's efforts towards introducing ESD in the formal realm of school education. WWF India, in partnership with WWF Sweden, has been working since 2007 to build capacity in ESD. This has been done by empowering the formal education system in India to deliver ESD. To this end, in 2008, 4 model schools demonstrating the ESD approach were set up in the Sundarbans. In 2010, 4 more schools were added in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. In 2013, 4 schools have been initiated in Assam. Also, the District Institute of Education and Training and the State Council Educational Research and Training in these 4 states have also been trained in ESD. WWF India has also collaborated with the Central Board of Secondary Education and the National Council of Educational Research and Training to build the capacity of their master trainers in ESD. Handbooks on ESD have been published in English as well as 3 regional languages. How we arrived at ESD. The Brundtland Commission in 1987 defined sustainable development as a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The Rio Conference in 1992 ushered in Agenda 21, which contained guidelines for the world's governments, local government authorities, and important social groups about how to create development in the 21st century without damaging the environment. The key message from the Rio Conference was that both rich and poor countries have environmental problems, and local solutions can be found derived from lifestyle and local conditions. An entire section, chapter 36, was devoted to education, and this has formed the basis of the present initiatives in Education for Sustainable Development, or ESD. A decade later, when the world once again came together in Johannesburg for a UN summit on sustainable development, it was reaffirmed that education is the primary agent of transformation towards sustainable development, increasing people's capacities to transform their visions for society into reality. It was decided that the period 2005 to 2014 would be a decade that would focus on education for sustainable development. ESD is hence not just environment education, it is a new approach in education that calls not only for a reorientation of policies, curriculums, teacher training, but also reorienting learning and practice in local schools, communities, and workplaces. ESD includes processes that cultivate knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes that affect the individuals, the schools, and the community's work in creating a fair and just society, economic security, ecological capacity, and democracy. The traditions of environmental education. Fact-based environmental education is based on the approach that environmental problems are questions of science or ecology. It is based on a belief that science will solve all problems in this area. It was therefore considered that environmental problems were regarded as knowledge-based problems which could be resolved by carrying out more research and supplying more information to the public. During the 1980s, a new orientation in the social debate emerged. Within this normative tradition, environmental problems were primarily a question of values. the problems were looked upon as a conflict between humans and nature. The conflict affected human values, and the environmental problems could be resolved by adopting environmentally friendly values. Today, increasing uncertainty on environmental issues have fostered differing opinions and debates which have deviated from the normative tradition. Today, environmental problems may be considered as political issues which should be dealt with democratically. This pluralistic approach encompasses the opinions and values of all as being equally relevant when determining the course of action in environmental and developmental issues. The democratic debate is the essence of education for sustainable development. No single environmental ethic is prioritized in this approach. Each alternative receives critical evaluation. A new educational approach is therefore essential to equip people to work towards a sustainable future. The Living Planet Report 2012 tells us that nature is the basis of our well-being and our prosperity. Biodiversity has declined globally by around 30% between 1970 and 2008. The demand on natural resources has doubled since 1966. And we are currently using the equivalent of 1.5 planets to support our activities on this earth. High-income countries have a footprint 5 times greater than that of low-income countries. Thank you, and all the very best wishes to you on this wonderful course to make our planet a better place to live in.